collaboration between HBO and Hulu of a single season with 8 episodes was Miss Sherlock, a Japanese-inspired adaptation of the legendary fictional British detective of Sherlock Holmes. The premise of the series had the quote-unquote consulting detective Sarah Sherlock Shelley Futaba, played by Yuko Takeuchi, helping to solve mysteries in modern-day Tokyo, Japan, assisted by her acquaintance Dr. Wato Tachibana, being a variation of Dr. John Watson. There were other characters depicted in the series such as Kimi Hatano, whom was based off of Mrs. Hudson, the landlady of 221 Baker Street where Sherlock resided in the novels. Kenta Futaba, played by Yukiyoshi Ozawa, was a variant of Mycroft Holmes, whom was Sherlock Holmes' older brother. Even the main foe of the series was Akira Moriwaki, as an adaptation of Dr. James Moriarty. The entire series was based around Sherlock and Watto dealing with the secret group of the Stellari, who were behind most of the crimes that the pair had to solve in the series, with Akira Moriwaki being the mastermind of the organization. The series ends with Sherlock seemingly sacrificing herself to stop Moriwaki, but it's implied that through circumstances her death was staged in order to truly stop the threat. While the series ends, at the time the series was originally broadcasted, it was promoted throughout Japanese and American media. Miss Sherlock was also very notable as it was the first major adaptation of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's work to have actresses playing female versions of all traditionally male characters from the novels. The uniquely Asian or Japanese interpretation of who Sherlock Holmes, as well as the stories of what Sherlock Holmes presented. In late 2019 and early 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic spread across the world, and there were global reports of cases of people infected as well as countries reacting to the pandemic. Yuko Takeuchi was a well-known celebrity in Japan, as well as an experienced and very much in-demand actress. In early 2020, Yuko Takeuchi gave birth to an infant son, as well as having a teenage son from a previous marriage. As with millions of families globally, she was forced to spend extensive amounts of time with her family as a result of the lockdown in Japan. In mid-2020, Yuko Takeuchi committed suicide by hanging herself, as her body was later discovered by her husband. No suicide note explaining the reason for the suicide was left by the actress, as well as the shocking news of her death destroyed her family by grief and left the Japanese acting community speechless. Theories eventually emerged that her suicide was connected to the pandemic, with the fact that in the United States there were reports of increases in crimes of domestic violence committed against children as well as spousal abuse due to the families being in confined spaces of homes for extended periods of time. A prominent theory had that Yuko Takeuchi was stressed by being with her newborn child as well as the demands of a family, combined with the strict and often demanding Japanese social structure, had her commit suicide. Prior to Yuko Takeuchi's suicide, there were questions of a second season of Miss Sherlock, but due to the circumstances of how the first season ended, it seemed unlikely. From information now known, despite initial praise for the series, critics now mention that Miss Sherlock had its good moments, but was not ultimately considered for a second season or continuation of the series, as the ending of Miss Sherlock could have gone for a continuation or a vague ending. As a result of the suicide, this series would have been most assuredly cancelled or never continued, regardless of what viewers of the series might have desired or producers of the series might have originally envisioned. Sometimes a character can be forgotten because an actress had stress related to family, as well as her occupation, and an untimely death led to a character's ending to be permanently unresolved.